You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level. Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are so happy to have you with us today. You're watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. It's your stage. This is a show all about giving people the opportunity to perform their talent. And I'm so excited because we have an incredible stand-up comedian in the house with us today. You are going to be delighted and laughing. And isn't that just the greatest way to spend part of your day? I'm your host, executive producer, director, and broadcast engineer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. And my guest is backstage. Let's bring her out, comedian Marina Joy. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So nice to see you. And I know we talked backstage. You're joining us from England, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I love England. I have so many new friends just during this pandemic. I can't wait to get over there. I'm going over in the spring, so hopefully we'll meet in person.
That should be great. Yeah. Not that I'm biased, but it's a good place to be.
For sure. So comedian, that is a tough job, I think, but I think one that's so rewarding. How did you get started as a comedian?
Wow. It all began like I did an acting degree. And then basically what happened is I can only describe once I left university, I can only have what I describe as a quarter life crisis, where I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, this is so scary. And then I went to Edinburgh Fringe, which is it's a very famous comedy fringe festival where they do lots of quirky theatre. You know, they do theatre in pubs, in a hotel room, just anywhere you're not supposed to have theatre, there's theatre. It's not traditional like a big fancy place. It's just, street theatre. And it was just amazing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do what these people are doing. There's some random man and he's put himself in a giant green inflatable ball and he's just bouncing around. I want to do something weird like that. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to give it a go. So I started gigging around London and I just kept writing and pestering everyone going, is this funny? Is this funny? And that Marina, just stop. Yes, it's funny.
That's a great story. Do you find that the most difficult part of the job is writing or is it delivering?
I think it's probably delivering for the first time, because in my head, I'm like, yeah, this is really funny. But then the audience may react a bit differently when it's your first time ever doing new material. So I think performing new material for the first time is the scariest bit. The writing is fine, it's safe. And when you've performed something like 20 times, that's fine, that's safe. It's the in the middle bit, the new material bit, where you think a joke's going to be great and then no one laughs. And you're like, back to the drawing board. I think that's the bit.
So if a joke bombs, so to speak, or it doesn't go over that well, do you take it personally or you just say, well, like you said, I'll just go back and write some new material?
No, I usually think that's fine. I'll just do it differently. I think the more I've had jokes go wrong, the less I care that they've gone wrong. I'm just like, it's just inevitable, isn't it? It's just part of the experience. Is occasionally you have a job that goes wrong, a joke that goes wrong, and it's just kind of like, okay, we'll move on. It's okay.
I can relate because being a producer, there's a lot of times I put the wrong clip on or something happens. I hit the computer and it goes whirling around. So you just keep going. What are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. It's funny in its own way. Sometimes the best mistakes is when the funniest things happen when you make a mistake and then everyone's like, and then actually that kind of awkwardness sometimes is quite funny in itself, It
is. I think it makes people realize we're all humans and things happen. So I'd love to know, before you start your material, what do you do when you're not making people laugh?
Wow. So I got a new job just before the pandemic. I was working as a children's entertainer and doing lots of customer servicey type stuff. But then just before lockdown, I started working with people with learning disabilities, living with dementia, as like a day service. And then that kind of had to close down because of the pandemic, and I did stuff from home. But yeah, that was my normal job, I guess.
Well, thank you so much for helping other people. That's what this platform is all about. And especially, I would think with the talent that you have, that's a true gift if you're helping people who, they need some uplifting. And who better than you to deliver that?
Well, I could try some of my jokes out on them. I'm sure some of them would, maybe not all of them would get it, but give it a go.
Yeah, why not? By the way, we have a comment already. So proud of you. Oh, isn't that nice? And you say
my best friends. Thank you.
How do you say her name? Is it Andrea?
Andrea.
I love that name, Andrea. It reminds me of like Hollywood and glitter and glamour. Andrea.
It's an actor's name, isn't it?
Yes, it definitely is. So thank you so much for watching. Okay, my new friend, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go, yeah.
Okay, as we talked about, I'm going to spotlight you, and I'm going to keep my mic on so I can engage with the performance. And by the way, audience, we would love to hear from you. If you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch TV, we'd love to have some comments from you. So here we go. Take it away.
Well, greetings, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on the show. As I said before, my name's Marina Joy. And just to tell you a little bit about myself, everyone on the interwebs. So I am an acting graduate, but I didn't get an agent, so I failed at that. Then I became a children's entertainer. And as you'll find out later on this set, I failed at that as well. So now I'm a stand-up comedian, and at this point, it's not really a career choice. It's more of just a cry for help. But I may not be very good at making sane and sensible life choices, but I am quite good at observing other people. I mean, having an acting degree, I literally have a degree in pretending to be other people, almost like wearing their skin, but it's legal as I didn't murder them. But during lockdown, we had some weird behaviors, right? We were spent too much time by them. So I spent too much time by myself. I got a bit weird. And the UK government had their own tier system for the different tiers of lockdown from 1 to 4. And I have my own tiers of human behavior during lockdown. Tier 1 was installing TikTok. Yeah, I think a lot of us did it. I did it. I definitely spend too much time on TikTok. Tier 2 is uninstalling TikTok. As you realise, it is filled with 15-year-olds who look cooler than you ever did at that age, and they keep making comments about how old millennials are. What's all that about? 25 isn't old. I can floss. I'm cool. I can floss, yeah. I'm really hip and trendy and down with the kids. And then you have Tier 3. Things are getting a little bit serious with Tier 3, which is where basically you plant a herb garden. Yeah. Desperate times, desperate measures. And of course, there's the dreaded Tier 4, which has just come along to ruin everyone's Christmas. Tier 4 ruined my Christmas in my part of the UK, which is just where you do all of the above, but with blue hair and a monobrow. Wow. And of course, by this point, you've been wearing your pajamas for weeks, haven't you? Suddenly you're really passionate about the deals at your local supermarket. I'm passionate about the Tesco's meal deal. It's all I've got to get me through. But now that I've kind of analysed other people's behaviour in lockdown, because I have to say, I had a lot of those weird moments, the moments where you kind of go, like, what am I doing with my life? How did I end up doing this? Well, I had a lot of those moments during lockdown. So what was I like? Well, like most people during lockdown, I really wanted a dog. I wanted a dog so much. I'm a dog person. Sorry, cat lovers. I am a dog person, I have to say. And I just really wanted a dog. And I still live with my parents because at the age of 25, still living with my parents. I bought an avocado this one time. And it means I'll never be able to afford property because that's how, I couldn't even say the word now. That's how the economy works. Yes, to my parents. Can we please buy a dog? Can we please adopt a dog? Please, can we adopt? Now it's a little bit awkward because I think my parents sort of they sort of went more with the adopting word and less with the dog word. I know we are in the process of fostering and adopting a 4-year-old. Yep, during a pandemic. And, it's great. I love children. I just want to say I do love kids. I do love my new brother. He's great. But, I was a little bit disappointed at the same time. I'd like to hand out my doggy mama's Instagram account. It was a bit inconsiderate of my parents, really. They didn't take that into consideration, did they? Oh. Wow. I can say having a 4-year-old brother at the age of 25, it's great, but children do not have social boundaries. The first time we met this child, we'll call him Jack. The first time I met Jack, we were introduced to him and I was like, hello. And then he just ran straight into our house and he saw a picture of my grandma on the wall. And he just turned around to my mum and he went, why did your mum die? Okay. And while we're still looking a bit shocked, he then proceeds to just sort of run around the house going, Grandma, Grandma's dead, Grandma's dead, Grandma's dead. So that was an interesting first impression. No one told me children would do things like that. Oh, but, it has been interesting, though, because I was walking down my landing one day, and then as I'm just walking down the landing, I just hear this voice coming from behind me, just going, no. I turn around and coming towards me was a pair of soggy, wet wee pants. I was like the Matrix. They were coming towards my face and I was like, trying to move out the way. I was doing gymnastics. Stressful situation. Never had that happen to me before. But before I could say anything, okay, little Jack, little cute, little adorable Jack, then starts laughing at me. And the worst thing about it is, I cannot tell him off because he is the foster child. You're not supposed to do that. But, if the government made me live with myself, I'd probably feel like throwing my pants down the stairs as well. So I don't really blame him, to be honest. It doesn't beat one time though. We're all eating dinner, trying to be civilized, and then Jack just runs into the room naked. He's 4. Why is he going to wear clothes? Who needs them? And he just runs in, start naked, with my mum running after him, and she's going, wash those wee everything in sight going like this, going everywhere like that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happening? This is so stressful. And then I have to sort of duck down because a plate of flying spaghetti is just going through the air. Tell you, nowhere is safe in my household. It's a war zone of flying spaghetti and wee pants. But sometimes that makes me really glad that I am not the parent. I have less responsibility, but sometimes I am a little bit responsible. I am the responsible one, and I do take little Jack for a walk. But we don't just walk anywhere anymore. Who does that? Walking's overrated. When we could just stomp like a dinosaur, or do the wobble dance down the pathway. Or we could just take our pants off and wee on a public footpath. Great. Only joking. It wasn't him who did that, no. It was me. Lockdown's got me into some pretty bad habits. Public toilets have been closed. No judgment there. But, even though Jack, he loves going to the loo on public, he doesn't actually like going, to the actual toilet where you're supposed to do your business, child logic. So I'll say to him something like, come on, Jack, let's go to the toilet. And he'll be like, I don't want to go to the toilet. No! You drank a lot of water. Let's just make sure they're comfortable. All right. I don't want to go to the toilet. Toilets are stupid. Then I said something I never thought I was going to ever say in my life. All right. I said, let's have a wee race. I'll race you to the toilet. Yay! And he went from, to, okay, in 2 seconds flat. Typical. So I'm running to the toilet. Yeah, wee race. He's like, yeah, wee race. And I'm a bit upset because I lost the wee race against a 4-year-old. A basic bodily function, and I lost. That was definitely a what am I doing with my life moment, like I've just lost the wee race. I don't know what I'm doing with my life right now. I'm in a bit of a pandemic. How do I entertain this child? And it was definitely one of those, oh my gosh, what do I do with my life? I don't know what's going on here kind of moment, But thinking about it, I think that a lot of people during lockdown had these moments, oh my goodness, I don't know what's going to happen next. It's uncertain. And I think that was just as scary as the actual, health kind of, as the health, that was as scary as, the health side of it as well, is that feeling of uncertainty. And I definitely felt that. But I don't think I can blame all of my weird moments on lockdown, because I think my life was a bit weird before lockdown, and lockdown just sort of exaggerated my already slightly confused existence. Okay? For example, when I first left university, my first acting graduate job, very fancy, was at a children's adventure park and play farm, where I had to dress up as a fairy. And it was very highbrow, so Shakespeare, darling. Yeah. But you see, the issue is, I've got blonde hair, and it was quite long at the time. I've cut it short now, and I just really wanted to be Elsa. I just wanted to be Elsa so bad. But let it go, let it go. Yeah, that's what I had to say to my hopes and dreams. They wouldn't allow me to be Elsa. And the thing with the place where I worked was that it was based on a book that no one had heard of. And my character wasn't from the first book. She was from the second. They never wrote the second book, did they? They just bought the costumes. So really, my character had a bit of an identity crisis. Maybe that says something about me as I played her. But it certainly made interacting with customers difficult, because you'd have the parents walk through the doors with their children, and you're supposed to greet them as they come in, a bit of audience interaction, and it goes a bit like this: greetings, fellow travellers, and welcome to my humble abode. Da, 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 da. The parents are just sort of looking at me a bit confused, like, sorry, not meaning to be rude, but like, who are you? And this is a really difficult question for me to answer, because I don't know who I am. I wasn't given a character description. So I have to improvise a little bit here, like, well, who am I? Who are you? Why is the sky blue? Why is a building called a building if it's already been built? If you are half scared to death twice, what happens to you? Do I even exist? I come out of my performance like, thank you, Oscar winning. I know. And the parents are just looking a little bit worried, They're a bit like, and the children looked traumatized, there's tears running down their cheeks. And I'm like, you just wanted to know where the toilets were, didn't you? Yeah. 5 stars on TripAdvisor, please, 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 please. No, I'm dying inside. Yeah. So that was but you know, when I'm not traumatizing small children, my job was to make bubbles for them. Yay! Who doesn't love bubbles? They're so much fun, even as an adult. And obviously, as I am a fairy, you know, the recipe is a top secret fairy recipe that's a little bit odd, a little bit strange in places. And it involves some fairy liquid, some water, and just to make sure the bubbles don't pop very easily, you then add the secret fairy ingredient, which is some powdered lube. It's a little secret I'm letting you in there. If you want nice bubbles, that's what you do. But obviously, I'm working with kids. I have to keep things a little bit PG, you know, a bit U-rated. So I'm training up a new trainee fairy, and I'm trying to tell her how to do the bubbles. I'm like, well, you know, add the water, add the fairy liquid, and then you add the and she's like, sorry, Marina, I didn't quite hear that last one. Could you just say that again, please? And I'm like, you know, the water, the fairy liquid, and the No, I still didn't get it. Just that last bit. Could you just say it again? Oh, you add the still get it. Fine. Then you add the and everyone within a 10-mile radius just turned around and stared at me. Yep. So I wasn't allowed to make bubbles anymore. That went well, didn't it? So then my next responsibility, as that went so well, was I was put in charge of the jelly eating competition. Oh, if you don't know, yeah, exactly. That is the appropriate response. It's like the Olympics, the jelly eating competition. It's serious, okay? Ooh, we have rules and everything. We trained for it. And you see the jelly eating competition has one important rule, right? You don't use a knife and fork, and you're not allowed to use your hands. You have to slurp the jelly up like a vacuum cleaner. Yeah. It's just a very, very, very special technique. Sort of like, just like that. And the parents love it. And they had this one particular family who had put themselves in for the jelly eating competition. They had a small child called Tabitha. Now, I don't know if you can imagine the sort of family one would have to come from if one names one 7-year-old child Tabitha. Very middle class. Yes. Very sort of like, yes, well, we come along and our children do every activity under the sun. Yes, quite well. We do horse riding, what? And they come along and they put their little child Tabitha in for the competition. And we start and everything's going amazing. It's going so well. And I'm so happy. And then halfway through the competition, Tabitha has had enough. She decides she doesn't want to eat any more jelly. She starts crying. No more jelly. It's already the parents are having none of it. They're like, come on, Tabitha. The glory of the family is at stake. She's 7. What's she going to do? And they look at her paper plate made with jelly still on top of it. They look at each other with a very knowing look, like, and then they proceed to roll her paper plate of jelly into a funnel and empty the contents into her open, crying mouth. Which goes a little bit like this. No more jelly. No more. And at this point, I'm getting a bit stressed. Technically, this is cheating. Okay, this is cheating. Jelly in the jelly small print, it says parents can't help their children. They're cheating. Also, if she chokes on all of that jelly, that's a lot of paperwork. I don't have to do it. Too much like hard work. I'm on minimum wage. But the crowd are loving it. They're like, jelly. And who's gonna win? Who's gonna win that last Who's going to get that last morsel of jelly? And the last second, Tabitha eats the last all-important morsel of jelly, and her family's honour is left intact. Oh, yeah, great for Tabitha. She goes home with lollipop. She's doing great. Her parents, on the other hand, I had to disqualify for suspicious jelly-eating activity. Well, I thought, I'm so good with kids, apparently, maybe I should just do a bit more children's entertainment, as I know that parents love to give their children this awful, horrible, disgusting thing called a birthday party. Yep, so I was like, great, I'm gonna do some birthday parties. I turn up at a birthday party. I'm dressed up as a cat, as you do, and all the children are like, woo! Those children are, you know. And sometimes I do balloon modelling to help with the kids, you know. Just then, so I get this little boy, and he comes up to me, and he's like, "Excuse me, could I please have a balloon sword, please?" And I'm like, "Of course you can." Me now, just to demonstrate. Yes, it is a balloon sword. Okay, no naughty comments there. And I give it to him. I'm like, "Here's your balloon sword." And then in front of all of the posh, fancy Prosecco drinking parents, he begins to do the one thing with a balloon sword you're not really supposed to do. He begins to sort of slowly turn it upside down.
Oh.
And my whole face is going, "No, don't do it." And then in front of all of the parents, he proceeds to sort of move it slowly towards his crotch.
Oh.
No, and I'm going, "No, please don't." And in front of everyone, he just sort of runs around like this, going, "Woo!" Isn't it great? I'm going, "Oh no, stop, this is a bad dream, no." And I know I have only one of three options, right? At this point, I have to just wait for the ground to just sort of suck me up, just disappear into the ground. Option two, I could run after him and go, "I'll take that back, please, thank you." But then he may start yelling, "Oh, the lady, she's touching my willy." Not a good look at a children's party. Never a good look in general, but definitely not at a children's party. So I do the only option available to me. And I join the parents and drink Prosecco instead. Yeah. And that was the end of my career as a children's entertainer. Don't really know what to do with this now. If this was a live performance, I'd chuck it at an unfortunate audience member. So there we go. But you know, I don't think I can really blame all of my life choices and all those weird little moments of, "Oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life?" I can't blame them all on my career choices either, if I'm honest. Because I think thinking about it, the time I was born and, you know, being a 90s kid had something to do with it too. Because you see, I do find being 25 quite a weird age. The reason being, right, so I was born in 1995, right? So people in their 30s, they'll be like, "Hey, Marina, remember that crazy, weird thing that happened in the 90s? And I'm like, no, I don't. I was a fetus. I don't know what you want me to do about that, really. And they'll name all these things, and I don't remember what they're talking about, you know? But at the same time, I may be young for a millennial. I am too old to be a Gen Zer. Like, "Oh, you guys, I don't know. I don't understand." Ooh. But, you know, it is weird because I do have a few little millennial choices. You know, I do have a few little millennial trends that I do. Yes, I like avocados, okay. Fine, I'll admit it. Yes, I like, you know, takeaway coffees, you know, frappuccinos, all that kind of thing. I still live at home with my parents, did a creative degree. I know, I get it. I'm a bit of a cliche. But it's a bit weird because, you see, I do love avocado on toast, but I wouldn't go to a vegan, organic, artisan cafe, darling, you know? I just make it a home where I can save money and still be in my pajamas. And yes, I do love takeaway coffee, but I'll feel good that I saved 25p and the environment by using my reusable coffee cup. Woo! Hashtag save the turtles. Hashtag basic. And yeah, you know, I do love vegan burgers with a side of chorizo. And yes, I do eat meat and cheese, but like my niche kind of thing I love to do is vegan shoe shopping. Yeah, like I like really niche hobbies, you know. I don't know what it is, but I do like vegan shoe shopping. It has to be said. And it's just a bit weird because I look at all these Gen Zers and like I think to myself, yeah, I have social media and I've got a smartphone. Yeah, I do, and that's great. But like, I remember the days when computers, you know, those big grey box designs we used to have, you know, like oh, kind of you could do weights with them. They were so heavy. Yeah. And do you remember when computers sounded like dying cats? You know. Get off the phone, Mum. I want to go on MSN. You know, and there's Bebo and MySpace. I even remember, right, the days when the comment section on Facebook was a nice place to be. I know. They're going to start teaching that in ancient history, aren't they, really? Let's be honest. So I look at all these Gen Zers and I'm like, I'm too old to be one of you. We're not the same. We're not the same. You know, and that's kind of really weird. And it's kind of weird because I remember in 2008 when Freddos were only 25p. Yes, I looked at how much Freddos were on an inflation graph. I did that. I'm that sad. Okay. If you don't know what Freddos are, I don't know. They're quite a British thing, Freddos. Or do you have them in the States?
Yes.
Okay, we do. Good. I was like, oof, phew, that joke does work. No, the days when Freddos were only like 25p. It was great. Happy days. I remember in 2008, I used to be dancing and singing to Busted in S Club 7. It was the year that Doctor Who came out. I mean, I'm British, of course. I'm going to mention Doctor Who. It was the year that The Revenge of the Sith came out. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Oh, happy days, you know. And it was the time that these very famous words were said calmly. Okay. Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? Did you? Did you? Calmly, of course, just like in the books. Oh, absolutely. It was a year of, hey, don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? Oops, I did it again. You know, it was a great time to be alive. It really was. It just made me really nostalgic, you know. And it was the time that these amazing and ridiculous lyrics by the Black Eyed Peas were written, okay? And as I'm an acting graduate, I'm going to sort of recite them for you now, like, you know, like Shakespeare, you know? I'm going to kind of recite them for you. But I don't have a, you know, like, unlike Hamlet, I don't have a skull. We are on a budget. I'm sorry. I don't have a skull, but I've got my Yoda toy. I hope that will do. Just speak. You just say things. Yoda uses the force. Very true, Yoda. Oh, so wise. You're so wise. Wow. Sometimes he sleeps in my bed in a non-creepy way. And sometimes I'll kick him in the middle of the night, not meaning to, and I'll just have this voice go, when you have been alive 900 years, look so good, you will not. It's a terrifying thing to wake up to in the middle of the night. It's terrifying. You wake up like, what? I'm being murdered. Oh, no. Oh, it's just Yoda. Oh, it's fine. It gets a bit more terrifying when Chewbacca joins in as well. Then you get, wah! In the middle of the night. Terrifying. If we ever end up getting married, it's going to get a little bit weird because we're just going to have Star Wars toys everywhere and they're just going to go off at random intervals. Anyway. So this beautiful Black Eyed Peas recital, glasses on the end of the nose. Oh, this is just so deep, you know. It's so deep. Right, Yoda, you ready? You ready, Yoda? I'm gonna do it first. What are you going to do with all that junk? All that junk that's in your trunk. I'm going to get you drunk. I'll get you love drunk off my humble my hump, my hump, my hump, my hump, my hump. Check it out. Oh, so deep. Wait, I just got to check this out. You are 900 years old. Are you okay? He's not impressed with me. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We'll talk about it later. Dear me. No animals were harmed in the making of this broadcast. But now I come to think about it, 2008 and all the rest of it, we weren't that progressive really with our feminism, were we? Let's be honest. And we didn't really always have song lyrics that made sense either, but at least we didn't have the floss, okay? We had standards. You guys, like you younglings all you little younglings out there, with the floss. I mean, what's that all about? Are you just really into great dental care? Like, what's going on? Like the tic-tacs, the snick-snacks, the blibbity-blip-laps, I don't know. What about the chat snaps, the nap-back, tibbity-bibbity-back taps? So what's that all about? You can't even save your photos on there. I don't know. Goodness me. Wow. I feel we've delved quite deep into like my brain and what gives me all of these weird, what am I doing with my life moments? And it just got me thinking, even if in all of these situations where I had these moments, I always learned something from each of them. Even if the lesson was just never do that again. Never again. Don't give a balloon sword to a 5-year-old. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't get a career in customer service. Don't do it. It's not worth it, Marina. Don't do it. Or, even just don't drink Prosecco. Okay, who am I fooling? Of course I'm going to carry on drinking Prosecco. Oh, don't be silly. It just got me thinking, over the last year, we haven't really known what we're doing, even less than usual, right? None of us have had the perfect 5-year plan that was spoken about in our professional practice classes at uni. None of us have known what we're doing. We've gone off the untrodden path, and just to go with the theme of nature. Or, we've gone through the forest of confusion. Ooh, how mysterious. Or, we've gone past the waterfall of confusion, and for all of this, we've not really known what's going on, and yet somehow we have survived, which is amazing. And it just got me thinking that we just waste so much time as humans comparing ourselves to other people. Like, I've noticed it, and I just think, this is going to be super cheesy, but you know what? It's fine. I'm okay with it. But let's just dig deep and just discover ourselves in the famous lyrics of TLC. This song came out in 95. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to. Oh, you love a bit of that song, a bit of TLC. I just says it all, really, doesn't it? Whoa, okay. Whistle singing, okay. But, the main question is, though, like, should I reinstall TikTok? Should I do it? Like, should I be one of those cool kids and get TikTok again? Get the TikTok, wow. Get TikTok again. Oh. I think I'm going to try. I don't think the floss can be that difficult, right? I think I can do it. Wait. Do you know what? Yeah, I give up. If any of you want me and want to contact me at any point, just send me an owl. And that's for me. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. You're so funny, so entertaining. I love all the different, the facial expressions, the animations. Really outstanding. How do you feel?
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it.
How do you feel?
I feel good. I'm quite hot. It's quite stuffy in here. Whew.
Well, plus you just put on a performance for 35 minutes, so that's amazing. And if people want to reach out to you, we've got your banner scrolling, but for people listening on the radio, the best way to reach you
is Marina Joy on YouTube and Facebook. They're my two main socials.
Fantastic. It's been such a pleasure having you here. I'd love to hang out more and chat. I have a show starting literally in 15 minutes, so I have to get over there. But you are really talented. And if there's anything that our audience can do to help you with your career, go ahead now and ask.
I wasn't expecting that question. I mean, my goal eventually is to do my own Edinburgh Fringe show. That's the end goal. When all the arts get running again. So yeah, I don't know, like just any festivals or around Edinburgh, if you want to shout out, then go for it. That's what I'm thinking of doing. Yeah, or any other shows. Yeah, I'm available. Yeah, I guess that's what I can think of.
And please stay in touch so we can keep abreast of what you're doing and watch your performances.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's been really fun, and yeah, it's really great to have these platforms to do things on, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. And if you're just joining us and you missed the performance, please go over to Dr. Jacalyn LLC on YouTube, and you can subscribe and you can watch the show from the beginning and all the rest of our shows. So Marina Joy, thank you. You are a true joy. Thank you for making my day. I've been laughing back here and behind the scenes and just really having fun. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
We'll see you again later. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, it feels so good to laugh, doesn't it? And have somebody who's so talented that could go for all that time continuously with new material for me. And I just really enjoyed it. So thank you. We have a show coming up literally around the corner, and it's called the 529 Club Creatives. And my co-host is the legendary Deborah Wooten. She is joining us, and our guest is the L. Michelle. So please do stay around for that. We've got some other programs after that: A Better You, lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. Then we have It's All About Dating. And then again, we have another A Better You. Each time we have different presenters giving us lessons to help make us better personally and professionally. That's all for now. I'll see you back in a few minutes. Thank you, Marina Joy. Nice having you.